Good morning, YouTube, and welcome back. In this video, we're going to go over some decision making. I'm going to try and keep it down to here. I'll only go over 3 of them for right now. This one should be a nested if statement. So we're going to stick with if statements. So an if statement is part of the decision-making process that the computer will do for you. So, using the operands that we know before, let's go ahead and set up like int I equals 1. Let's do ABs. And int B equals 5. Let's change this to 3. And then we'll do a string result equals nothing. Keep them down to 1 letters. So what we're going to do here is we're going to say if A is less than 3, we're going to say R equals A dot toString. Or we're going to say A is less than B. This should be A then less than B. Okay. And then below that, we're going to write string, or we're going to write console.writeLine R with a console.read key. Now what this is saying is that an if statement is only checking to see if it's true or false. So if this statement is true, then the things inside of this block between the curly brackets will take place. If not, then it will skip this and go directly to the next line. So, as you can see, 3 is less than 5. Now, if this weren't the case, so if we had another one, and we change this to C, and we hit start, we can see that it skips it. Now, so the return value is false, so it skips this line. So you can see that if we were to switch it back to A, I'll do it line by line. So now it's checking to see if, checking the if statement, and it goes to the first block and goes down because the value is true, or the result was true, so it goes through it. Alright, so let's comment this out and go to the next step. which are if-else statements. Now this is just saying that if this is true, do this. And we're going to R equals, this is true, or this is if. But if that value is not true and it returns false, it'll come here, no matter what. So if A is greater than C, it'll save R as this is if. But if A was not greater than C, then it's going to go to the else statement. So it's just a simple little if-else. And then we will let's steal this from up here. So now if we hit start, this is else, because A is not greater than C, because A was 3 and C was 7. So that came out to be false. But now if we change this to is A less than C, this is if. So it checks this one, checks the if statement. If it's true, it goes into the if. But if the if statement is false, then it goes to else. And it will always go to else, unless this one's true. So let's comment this out. Steal this. Now we have an if, else if, and an else. So basically what it's saying is you're going to check one. So we're going to check to see if A is greater than B. And if it is, then R is going to equal this is if. But let's say that A is not greater than, because it's not. So if this comes out to false, then it goes to the next line, which is else if. So if B is greater than A, then it's going to check this one here. R equals, this is else if. But since this is true, it'll come in here. But let's say that we wanted to check to see if B was equal to A. Well, it's not, so it's going to bypass this block, and it's going to come into this one. So so basically it checks if it's true, it'll come in here. But if it's false, then it goes to the else if. And then it goes down a little further to the next one if this one's false. And then it jumps to the else. So let's take that off. I think that's pretty explained, I hope. A nested if just says that if, so we're going to check to see if B is greater than A, and if it's not, then we're going to say R equals we'll just say else. So if B is greater than A, then we're going to check to see if C is greater than B. And you can do else ifs in here as well. Else ifs and elses. So if you didn't want a value or anything to happen, so if I had an if C is greater than B, R equals first nest if, then we can do an else if B is greater than C. And you can keep going. I mean, you can do, you can put a nest inside of a nest, you know. So if I wanted to do another if, like that, I could. And I could put another one inside that one. So basically what it's going to do is it's going to go if B is greater than A, which it is, then it's going to go to this one here and it's going to check to see if C is greater than B, which it is, then it'll come inside that code. And then, but if B was not greater than A, then it'll just go to the else. And you can do ifs inside of elses as well. So you can do things like that. So I hope that kind of makes sense. I'm going to try and keep this video short, so I think I'm going to end it here. We're going to use this here in a little bit. After after the next video, I'll show you a sense of where you could use this at. Well, actually, I can go ahead and do that right now. So we're going to do a region. We're going to do an if. We're going to do the if example. End region. So what we're going to do here is, let's go ahead and comment these out as well. Oops, I did not want to do that. And I have an error somewhere. It's inside here. Oh, that's right. I didn't comment these out. So, what we're going to do here is we're going to do a int. We're going to use everything we've learned so far to do this example. So we're going to go string name, and we're going to make make it nothing. We're going to do string age, or string. We're going to go int age. We'll do, we're going to see if you are, I don't know, if you're old enough to enter a, go on a ride or something. So, what I did was we have a string name, int age, and a double height. Or actually, we can do a we'll do an int age and a double height. So now what we want to do is we want to ask the question, console.write, what is your name? I know you don't need to know that to go on a ride, but, and then we'll go name equals console.readline. Then we're going to do a console.write. How old are you? Going to do age equals convert to int 32 and a console.readline. Then we'll do a console.write. How tall are you? And we're going to do a height equals convert.to double console.readline. So we have this stuff. Now we need an enter age equals, we're going to say you have to be at least 13. And you have to be at least 4'5". And then the bool can enter will be false until they compare your height and your age that you tell them to the height and age of the limit. So we can do a string r equals you may and we'll concatenate the string based on the results. So now the first if statement. So, and concatenate is putting two strings together to form one string, which you've seen me do with the plus. So if if name so string.empty is just checking to see if the string is empty, and we use the not which we don't have to use that one. We can use this one. So it's checking to see if the name is empty or not. If it's not empty, so we do this. We go if height is greater than or equal to e height, then we'll do another one that says if age is greater than or equal to e age, then can enter equals true. And this is going to be, and we only have to do ifs on this. Now else, so else says that because you didn't give a name and you're supposed to, we can do a, what was it called? R equals R plus not enter. You must enter your name. So, if you give a name and your height is greater than or equal to the required height, and your age is greater than or equal to the required age, then you can enter. So, below this, all of this, we're going to do an if for the bool. So, if can enter equals false, or sorry about that. So we can do a, this is how you determine a true or false statement in an if, and this is the easiest way to do it. So if you put, if it's a true or false statement like can enter, you can say if can enter. That automatically says that it's checking to see if can enter is true or false. Now if you wanted to say if can enter does not equal false, you can just put it like that with the not. But we're going to do it the long way. We're going to say can enter equals true, then R is going to equal R plus enter, because R already equals you may. But if can enter does not equal true, or if it equals false, then R is going to equal R plus not enter. And then below all this, we can do a console.writeLine, or yeah, console.writeLine R, and a console.readKey. And then we start. So it's going to ask, what is your name? How old are you? How tall are you? Now in this one, you do 5 point inches. So if you're 5'11", you put 5'11". And we press enter. And then it says I may enter because I'm over 13 and I'm over the required height. But now let's say that you aren't over the required height. So if I was 4'3", what happened? Oh, okay, I get it. Alright, so if I was 13, and then it'll still ask how tall I am, and I'm 4'3", you may not enter because I was not 4'5". I hope that makes sense. And the reason why I got the error is because an integer can't be converted to a double, so you have to put a try catch in here, which we'll go over exceptions at a later time. So I hope that all makes sense. If not, let me know, and I'll see what I can do to explain it better. But if it doesn't make sense right now, it might make sense a little later whenever we actually start doing everything. So, as always, leave your comments below, hit that like button, and subscribe if you haven't already for more videos to come. I'll see you in the next video.